Hello everybody, my name is Lord UK. It's my pleasure to bring you this second sponsored video of Feed the Scorchpot. The Kickstarter for the game is going to launch in 1 week's time. You can find links in the pinned comment or the description to take you there if you want to register for notifications when it does go live, or if it is past April 14th, then the links will be updated to the Kickstarter campaign itself. For now, we're on the 0.61 beta version, so I can go to a new game and start on an entirely random seed. If you're playing the demo, you might still be on the version that has set seeds for you to explore. But for now, I get this random assortment of tiles on our Catan style board to try and feed our lovely dragon here. So the very first thing we want to do before we think about any of the tiles where we're going to place our little farmsteads here to generate our resources, we want to hop into the shop and look at what recipes we have available to us. So we have Loot Fisk, 0 fish to activate. When the mark of 7 is active, this recipe adds 4 flavor. Starter recipes are now cheaper to activate, now 0 flavor. Or Double Cod Stew, 0 fish to activate, creates 150 fodder if a kept die is showing a 2. Starter recipes are cheaper to activate. 150 fodder is nice, but I think I would rather take some flavor. So we want a mark of the 7, which is relatively easy to do. It's the most common combination of 2 dice. So we can see on our board here, we do have a 7 here for meat. Looks like it's the only one on the board, and so if we want to take use of that, we should consider playing near it. So we could do 7, 9, 3. And next to it, we could do 7, 5, 11. So we'll start with those. Because we now have 2 farms on the board, we get an extra season, so we get to throw dice 3 times instead of 2. Let's roll those bones, and immediately we get a 4 and a 3, which marks our 7, which is going to give us enough flavor, or enough, a mark of 7 to add the flavor. It's not 1 per mark of 7, it's the mark of 7, so we don't have to make another one. So we could do this. That would activate 10s, which is not useful to us, so we're going to look for anything that can get a 9, 11, or a 5, so that would be a 2 or a 5. Obviously, we can't make a 3 when we have a 3 and a 4 already on board. The 8's no good to us. The 5 does get us some resources, so we'll harvest there. And then we can cook with this recipe, and that's going to give us 4 flavor, which is going to multiply 40 by 4 times 1. Will not quite get us the hunger we need, but it's a good chunk into the 250 with 200 there. So we go to our next season and roll those dice again. 2, 2, and 2. I could hold a 2. If we roll a 1, we can get the 3. We don't need this mark of the 7 if we can just get 50 resources of fodder. Well, there's a 5 for the 7. 4 is no use to me, so now we'll re-roll the additional 2 that we've rolled. 11 and 8 are no good. Alright, well, we get 1 7. Or 2 7s, rather. That's not bad. And with those 7s, we can cook our fish. And that is going to give us another 200, taking us over the hunger of 250 that is required, and we can move into the next year. We have 1 unspent season here, so we're going to get some prosperity. That's up to 1.01, and the prosperity is going to add a multiplier to our total fodder when we cook in future years, so winning quickly is very beneficial. Each one of these little humble farmsteads has given us 2 ducats at the end of the year, so we now have 6, so we could look back in our shop. We can't afford other recipes right now. There's some consumables. Change a tile type to either grain or spices. Upgrade a random recipe by 1 level. I wouldn't mind upgrading this, but if we upgrade it, it might cost more than 0 fish to activate. And right now, we don't have any fish because we don't have anything bordering the coast. So that would be a dangerous game to play, I'm sure. A merchant post. During cooking, Gain 2 flavor per adjacent farmstead. Earns 4 ducats each year. Well, I think I will buy one of those. And we're going to put that between our 2 farmsteads here, so we're going to get most value out of those. We also have this wheel, which is a mechanic I have not used because it was not available in the demo. The recipe shop. Spend resources to reroll the recipe shop. Manual shop rerolls. Flavor recipes matching the selected ingredient. Okay, so if I wanted to get a meat recipe, I could reroll and we could then possibly make use of these meat tiles that we are so focused towards. But we can worry about that in a little while. For now, we're going to roll these dice again. We do not get a 7 yet because 4 and 1 and 2 does not make a mark of 7. They are not cumulative. They all just mark together in pairs. So what would I like to do? I think we're just going to roll all of the dice until we find a 7. There's a 5 and a 2. We can take the 1 as well for the 3. That's going to go pretty well, I think. And then we can cook. So we get our extra flavor, extra fodder, and that's going to clear 355 with ease, which is lovely. So into our next year, we're going to get 2 extra pips on our spare seasons. And we increase our building limit every time we get through a new year. We now have 9 ducats again, so we can go back into our shop. There's Lutefisk level 2, which we cannot afford, but it would take 5 fish to activate. That's why I was reserved on upgrading this for the small cost of a consumable, because it would be a real problem if we couldn't do it. We could take a dock, though. Harbor, tier 1. Displays 1 extra tool in the shop. Grants bonuses on the 2 adjacent tiles. Fields yield 5 fish. So, what fields do we have? There's this one. There's, yeah, the field that we could put it here. Except I don't think it will let us put it on inland, will it? Of course. But I still think we should take one. Yes, it must go on the borders, so we'll put it on the border of, at the very least, this field. Do we want fruit or allotments? Well, I don't even know if we're going to get the... Let's see, allotments give plus 10% prosperity growth. And which one was this? Groves. Groves offer 0.1 essence. I think we'll go here. And then, unless there's anything else for us to buy, we do have tools available. Add 1 to the currently rolled face of a die. 6 goes back to 1. That would be a permanent change to the die. Subtract 1 from the current rolled face of a die. 1 goes back to 6. Reroll the tool shop. Alright, I'm not interested in too much of that right now. Let's roll our dice. 6 and 1 makes the 7 that we so desperately need. And that would be another 7 and a 12. I'd rather go for 11 or 9 or something else, I think. 10 and 5 is no good. There's a 9 and a 4. That's pretty good. We only get 5 fish from this guy, so I think this is upgraded, needed 15 fish, which would still be a problem for us. We do, of course, want to make sure we get our recipe down there, and then we can be off to cook. Right, we need 640. I don't think we're going to quite get there. It's closer to 500, I think. 533. That's all right. We can go again. 8s are not worth very much to us. 4s. Oh dear, we're not going to get to our 7, are we? We could keep the 9. That's going to get us at least some ingredients. then this would need to be a 2 or a 3 to get to a 7. Or we could just re-roll and really hope. We also have our shaker here if we really need it. I think we are going to need it, so we can drag it up to here to use it. And there's our 7. Lucky us. Now, this should take us over our hunger 640, which means we'll get another pip on our prosperity. Always happy to see those. What I would really like is some more money through each new year. That puts us at 12. Soylent Green, 5 veg to activate, creates 40 fodder multiplied by the number of farmsteads. Tofu, 5 veg to activate, permanently gains 4 flavor if no meat or fish is produced during harvest. Well, that's not going to do us much good right now. 2 more docks is not really what I want to see. A cane, change a tile type to either dairy or meat. A paint roller, randomly change the color of a dice. A staff, activate a recipe for free. I think I'm going to roll here once to change our buildings. And here we have a cairn. 2 times ingredients yield and ducats earned from adjacent buildings. That will give us something for sure. Now, we've taken this spot with the merchant post, so we can't double both of these. This gives 2 times ingredients yield, so this would give 10 fish, but not extra money. This would go from 4 ducats to 8, which would not be bad, but it doesn't give us any actual ingredients. If I think I'm going to make 1200, I'd rather get the extra money. If we're decent about our rolls, we certainly can. So, that's a statistical unlikelihood. There's our 7 and a 3 to go with it. Is lovely. Let's harvest that up right away. Right, that's going to get us halfway to the 1200, which is good. 721. Keep on rolling. There's 7 4s. Do not very much for us. 6s do nothing. 9 does give us a little of something, so I'm happy enough with that, I think. Make sure we cook our recipe. And 50 times 10 is another 500. That'll take us over the 1200 we need. Into that next year, and we're going to get extra cash from this. Now, it is the 5th year. The dragon is hangry. Envy marks 2, 5, 9, and 12 are scorched. So this 9 and this 5 are no good to us, but the 7 and the 3 and the 11 are still available. So we'll see what we can do with that. We also have 16 cash to spend, which is nice. Paint roller, change the color of a die. Hoe, add a random mark to a tile up to 6 marks. That's pretty good. We can make other marks that we're rolling more productive. Stamper, apply a single-use stamp to a recipe. Each stamp triggers the recipe 1 additional time during cooking and then is used up. There's also another merchant post, which would get another 4 ducats. We need 2200 to get through this. Or a mason's mooring. Harbour tier 2. So it would yield 10 fish. It's not really what I want, though. I think I'm going to roll for buildings. A hill fort. We can't afford it, which is a shame. Yields 30 ingredients per adjacent farmstead. Earns 5 ducats per adjacent trade post. Plus 30% prosperity growth per adjacent harbour. And grants 0.3 essence per adjacent shrine. Well, these are not the buildings I was really hoping to see. Let's take this stamper. Where are we going to put it? Apply a single stamp to a recipe. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted the hoe. Add a random mark to a tile. I guess we can just do both. So, let's make sure we're using both of these at the same time. Or we could make sure we're rolling to useful numbers before we stamp. So, add a random mark to a tile up to 6 marks. I think we should probably do the 7 because it has 2 farmsteads already on it. But at the same time, 7 is the number that we definitely want to be throwing. 3 is harder to throw because we have to have at least a 1 or a 2 to go with the 7. So obviously we need at least a 5 and a 6 for an 11, but we can use a 5 or a 6 to make a 7. We can't use a 5 or a 6 to make a 3. So let's add a number onto the 3 here. An 8, not bad. And then we'll roll. There's an 8. But I think I want the 7 first as our priority. There's our 7 and an 8. And we can then double that up. Harvest on our 7 and our 8. Throw our recipe in and cook. How does that do? About 1,000, give or take. 680. No, I was way off. Right, we've got 2 more seasons. 6, 12, 18 is not going to be enough, so we need to find some more value here. And that was with a double lutefisk, so could be tricky. There's a 7. The 9 is no good to us right now. So we don't even make a mark of 9 with the 4 and the 5. The 6 is no good. The 8 and the 11 is very nice. We'll harvest that for sure. Throw the recipe in. So 74 fodder. Times 10 is 700. We get to 1,500. We need another 700. It's going to be close. No. Oh, there is a 7 here. This gives us a 6 and an 11. The 11's not bad. But I worry it's not going to be enough. What would we need to roll off of this? A 2. A 2 would be best, because then we make an 8 and a 3. This is a 4. Oh, we get the 2. Is it going to be enough? It is just barely, but we're going to need some help soon. 3,500 needed this year. Off to the shop with 14 gold in tow. We can afford a market. During cooking, gain 4 flavor per adjacent farmstead. Earns 6 ducats each year. I do like that, the sound of that much money. It's a tier 2 trading post, so we'd have to upgrade this merchant post, but it does mean we get to be on both sides, so let's do that. And this guy doubles the money that we get, so that'll be 12 ducats from that if we can win. We need 3,500. If we don't roll the 7, it's going to be a problem. There's the 7. 12's no good to us, so it's going to be a weak year. Or a weak season. About 600 points. No, it was better than I thought it was going to be, but we need stronger seasons, for sure. There's a 7. The 5 is no good. The 2 is terrible. The 3 and the 8 is fantastic. How does that do? Right, we need 1,500 off of this last roll. I'm frightened. That's just 7s. 4 is not what we need. 4 again. 5. That comes to 60. I think this might not be enough. We might be rolling a brand new board. Yeah. Damn. I've tasted wonders of people you wouldn't believe. Flavor storms dancing across the crystal wastes, meadows of spice blazing near the Hellfire Gate. All those feasts will be lost in time. Over steam, like steam over a pot. Alright, let's jump back in. Alright, let's hope for a more conducive recipe to our buildings this time. Milk to activate. While Mark of 3 is active, this recipe adds 12 flavor. 3 is hard to roll, just a 2 and a 1. Holy Crepes adds 5 flavor multiplied by the number of shrines. We currently do not have any shrines. That is a shame. Can we get to 250 without buying any of these recipes? Is a great question. We could buy a 3rd farmstead, but without having somewhere to put our recipe routes down, it's hard to decide where you're going to put those. I guess cheese spread is just kind of the better option here. If we're going to need any number of shrines. Or we could roll one. No, we can't roll once, because if we buy a recipe, we're not going to have enough money to roll and take something else. What a tricky start. All right, let's go against the grain here. Let's buy a 3rd humble farmstead here. And let's look for some really good spots. Let's take a 3, 5, 10 here. Next to the 10, 2, 7. And we could stick this here. And then if we put a really good shrine or something in the middle of all of that, perhaps things will go great. So 7, we don't have any 4s or 5s. We don't have any 8s or 9s. Don't have any 4s or 5s. Right, well that's not the best start, considering we need 250 out of raw ingredients. Since we didn't take a recipe, I fear this is not going to be the strategy to aspire to. 5, 10, 7. We're going to need more than 100 out of each of these, and I don't think we're going to get it. But it's a very valuable learning lesson, because we need 130 out of this next roll. What would I need? Like all 3s? Fives, okay. But this is only 80. So that is a terrible plan. Next time we will definitely take the recipe with our learning there. Ketchup. Fruit and veg, or fruit to activate. While the mark of 10 is active, this recipe adds 10 flavor. Sweet roll. Wheat to activate adds 4 essence for each unused dice roll. Essence is a big multiplier as the 3rd number, but I want to use my dice roll. So I think we're going to take the ketchup and try for marks of 10 on buildings that have fruit. So that is our pinky peach coloured tiles. We could do this 3, 8, 10, although 3 is the harder number to roll there. It's actually just 3, 3, 4. It's going to be tough, isn't it? Well, the mark of 10 is active. Okay, well, we'll put it next to the 3 and the 10, because we want to make the mark of 10 to activate it and harvest some fruit to make it work, which seems like a tricky pair to get working, but we'll see how we go. So, marks of 10. Show me a 6. Right, there's our mark of 10. And with an 11... No, we don't have an 11. It's not useful, that. 7s, 9s. It's going to be tricky. For certain. $220 flavor. So we need a 4 or a 5. I'll take that. We get the 11, we get the 10. That'll definitely be enough to get us to 250. Way over 250. Give me that extra prosperity. Give me the cash. And let's see what our shop has in store. Noodles. 0 wheat to activate. Well, mark of 9 is active. This recipe adds 8 flavor. This is mark of 10 for 10 flavor. And sweet rolls, wheat for unused dice rolls. A merchant post during cooking. Gain 2 flavor per adjacent farmstead. Earns 4 ducats. About 33% chance to duplicate a tile's mark. Cane, change a tile type to either meat or dairy. Give me the merchant post. Let's put it... Great question. Let's put it here. No mark of 10 there, which is the one we need. The 9 does give us at least something to start with. There's our mark of 10. Oh no, the 9 is next to a building that does not harvest. That was my mistake. How do we do? Not quite. That's a shame. We probably could have gotten there if I'd have been slightly more attentive. Alright, no mark of 10 here is a damn shame. Let's just roll the lot. Still none. That's a very poor roll indeed. So we can use the recipe, but it doesn't give us the 10 flavor we want. We do manage to peep over the 355 required though, so we're all right. We get our money. I can't believe it's not butter. 5 veg to activate. Transmutes all vegetables into dairy and grants a 30% bonus to the result. Garum transmutes all fish into spices and grants a 30% bonus to the result. A can and another merchant post. Doubles the ingredient and ducats earned from adjacent buildings. I think we probably want one of those in play. Let's stick it here to double the stuff that we're going to get on the 10s we're trying to roll against this guy. I don't know what the strategy should be for trying to roll our target numbers here. The 6 does get us something, the 8 gets us something, the 10 gets us something. That seems like a very good roll. And we cruise over the 640 needed. You love to see it. And 14 cash to spend this time. More cairns. 2x ingredient yields and ducats earned from adjacent buildings. I'm not sure if the 2x's stack against whatever building it is next to. Marker the 12 is active. This recipe adds 14 flavor. 5 meat to activate permanently gains 20 fodder each time the recipe is activated. Accumulated fodder is multiplied by the recipe's level. Are we making meat very much? On the 10s we are. Now, if we wanted to play another recipe, we would need to build another trade post, which we currently cannot do because there's not one available to us. And it's a very expensive recipe just to hold on to for a while. But the permanent growth is tempting. 20 fodder each time it's activated with 5 meat, which would be just on the 10s. But if we're getting the 10s, we're not activating ketchup because we can't activate 2 recipes at the same time at the moment. Tricky stuff. Reroll the tool shop. Upgrade a random recipe by 1 level. This is 0 fruit to activate. We did go next to fruit on 3s and 4s. Now, we can't actually roll a 3, a 4, and a 10 at the same time, which is, on reflection, not the greatest spot to be in. But, you know, we live, we learn. It's all we can do. Yeah, this is tough. We don't have any tools that are going to allow us to make more fruit and veg right now, or at least fruit and veg tiles. So I can't upgrade this. Let's do this instead. By adding another shrine, we're going to get an extra die roll, which is very nice. Let's stick it there. And do I want to go all in on this guy? Let's see how that goes. So we want to roll those 10s. I'll hold a 6. I regret holding the 6. Okay, this is going to be very not good. We get a very minimal harvest. And nothing out of that. A whole, what, 58 or something? 47. Rubbish. We need a 6 or a 5. That's also not gone well. These dice rolls are murder. Murder? Come on now. Give me what we need. There we go. There's our mark of 10. On a mark of 6, we get some wheat. Can we do better? 12 is good for nothing. 11 gets us some veg. We might just eke this out. Oh yeah, the multiplicative cairns seem to be working out, which is lovely. The dragon refuses one type of ingredient, fruit. We got to year 5 so fast this time round, it feels like. 22 cash. Temple, adjacent buildings earn 8 more ducats. Scepter, gain bonus ducats equal to your yearly income, then advance the season by 1. I would love that extra money. Subtract 1 from the current rolled face of a die. Wheat to activate. Dairy to activate. Ancient buildings earn 8 more. 8 more is so much, but I don't have anywhere that's adjacent to 2 buildings. Or is it an upgrade? Yeah, it's a temple. It's a shrine tier 2. That's what it is. I'm going to buy this scepter, but not necessarily use it yet. Honestly, making a 1 go to a 6 on a die might be okay, because then we have a higher chance of drawing these 10s and 11s that we so desire. We still got 17 money. Dock. I don't think is what I want right now. With 17, we can't afford the temple and the rough chisel. So I'm going to buy the temple. I'm going to install it here. And then when we use the scepter, our yearly income will be greater. But before we do that, and we advance a season, I want to make sure we have a solid roll in place. There's our 10. With 10s and 8s, I think I'm happy enough to use this now. So, look at that. That's humongous. Then we do our harvest. We need to get to 2200 sharpish. Make sure we're cooking our recipe. And we fly over that 2200. We go next year. We get paid again. And now we have cash to work with. So, new year, and we have all of the money in the world, which is delightful. So, shopping. Time to just go bonkers. Seal of approval. 5 fish to activate. If the next recipe creates fodder, place a stamp on it for each level of the recipe. God. Food stamp. 5 wheat to activate. Places a stamp on the next recipe for each level of this recipe. Each trade post built reduces this recipe's effect level minimum 1. Now we're getting crazy. Soy shore. Arbor tier 2 yields 20 ingredients from adjacent vegetable tiles, which produce 100% more. Do we have any good vegetable tiles? Kinda. But as a tier 2, I don't have any tier 1 docks, do I? So I'm not sure if I can just place this immediately as a tier 2 harbour. No, I'm going to need to buy a tier 1 harbour. That's not ideal. Give me this. Now we do have a building limit, which we must be aware of. We can take stuff off the board to sell it. And in fact, we can move stuff in the middle of the round, which is not something I had been previously making any use of. So that could be very interesting. I would like to get to... Well, that was an additional merchant post, which is a trade post. So now we can have 2 recipes active at the same time, which is going to be very interesting. Fish and wheat. I don't think these are things that we can utilize terribly well right now. Show me recipes that work with meat. Spend resources to reroll the recipe shop. I'm going to need those resources then. 10 meat. Alright, we could roll for buildings. Fish market. Tier 2 trade post. Earns 1 ducat per harbour at the start of the year and gives 4 flavour per harbour during cooking. Another cairn. Add colour to currently rolled face of a coloured die. Reroll the tool shop. Let's reroll the tool shop. Ho. Add a random mark to a tile. Reroll the building, dice, and recipe shops. What's a purple die? When the coloured face is kept, all spice tiles yield 100% more. That's not the colour I need right now. Right, let's add a random mark to something. Let's do this fruit one. Oh, the 10 is so good. So now we can upgrade the ketchup, and the mark of 10 will make the fruit we need and the mark of 10 we need, which is humongous. A mallet will reroll everything. One, one, two, two, three, three is not what we want to see because we want to make 10s. Noodles, wheat to activated, mark of 9. Soylent Green creates 40 fodder multiplied by the number of farmsteads. I'll buy that and just keep it around because we're going to make greens now because... no, fruit and greens are different, but on an 11 we might be okay. Large farmstead. Yields 20 ingredients for adjacent tiles and 2 ducats. Let's stick that here. So that's going to get good off of those 10s. And in the shop we now have a dock available. And we can then double that up to a soy shore. It needs vegetables. We're probably not wanting to roll 12s, so we'll stick it there. And hopefully everything's going to go incredibly well now. There's our 10. There's an 11 for some vegetables. Harvest all of that. And then we can cook both of these recipes. And what is this getting for? Number of farmsteads. So that's this one and that one. But this number should go off the charts now. Yes. Feed the dragon. And our cash situation is just fantastic. Ketchup level 2. 5 fruit to activated adds 20 flavor instead of 10 flavor. I think we'll make that jump now. Farmer's Market. 5 veg to activate. Permanently gains 0.1 essence during every harvest if a mark of 8 is rolled. Mark changes every season. Accumulated essence is multiplied by the recipe's level. You know what? I'm going to buy that just to start trying to grow it, perhaps. Tavern. During cooking, gain 8 flavor per adjacent farmstead. It's a level 2 trading post. We don't have any open... Oh, we do have open trade merchant posts. Nice. Cool. Happy. What's our tools available? Paint roller, paintbrush. Add color to the currently rolled die. Roll the face of a colored die. We want to see 10 very badly. There it is. We get 10, we get 9, we get 11. 9 is not actually productive for us, but the 10s and the 11s are. Harvest all of that. We don't have any 8s. That's fine. It will change in time. Essence is growing wonderfully right now, because we're getting out of these seasons very swiftly. I would like to get more actual farmsteads on the board. There's a humble farmstead. Sold. Sushi. Fish. English breakfast. 5 veg to activate. Adds 0.6 essence if the fodder contains no spices. I am offended. I'm not really offended, but that is rather funny. Adds 0.6 essence to the fodder. Contains no spices. right now we are not a spicy nation. 0.6 essence. This is 0.1 essence growing. This is 40 fodder. This is 20 flavor. I'll take an English breakfast. We can probably make that work down the line. And I want to see other farmsteads. Cane, change type to dairy or meat. Pitchfork, reroll the mark on a tile. Alright, let's look for another farmstead. Stone circle. 2 times ingredients yields of ducats germed from adjacent buildings. Adjacent tiles yield 1 additional time during harvest, regardless of marks. That's incredible. We're taking that. We're taking another humble farmstead. I need 1 more humble farmstead to then get a 4th season available to us. I'll take a lot. No space. No space. Okay. Upgrade. You. Let's put that there for the 9s and 10s. And where else could we go? It's a fantastic question. We don't really need anything specifically. I don't want spices. We're avoiding making spicy food. Stick it. Yeah. So we need 1 more to get an extra season. Large farmstead earns 20 per adjacent. There's a humble. That's going to be good. So, where do we want to be large? Let's take you. And 1 more humble. Let's throw it in there. So we now get 4 seasons because we've put enough extra farmsteads on the board. Very happy. We want 1 more harbour, then we get to throw an extra die, which would be even better, but right now we don't have any building slots. So let's get through this year. We still want to see a mark of 10, ideally. It's not gone well. Oh, we got 10 through the 6 and the 4. I got so hyperfixated on other numbers. Not enough ingredients. There's a bug there in the animation for how many ingredients we have, but this is a beta. We know that. Okay, so we can't actually do that without any vegetables. It's a shame, but, you know, we've got 360 meat coming in. Just a chill 31,000. And because we got the extra season, we get more prosperity, which is lovely. Year number 9. Tons of money. We want another harbour so that we can get another die. Farmstead tier 2 yields 50 ingredients from adjacent fruit tiles. You've got adjacent fruit. Why not? Why not? Let's put a dock in. Is there anything we specifically care about? Fields give fish, meadows give cash. We don't need more money. Paddocks reduce hunger by 2%. Allotments give 10% prosperity growth. Let's do it here then. So we now have 4 dice slots available. A high die, that's great. That's just what the doctor ordered. And we get to roll all of those. Keep the 6. Keep the 5. No, we can roll a 4 off of this more easily. We do want to get some vegetables, which is going to be an 11 or a 5 or a 12. All right, we basically get to roll half the board now because we add one more die, but that adds 3 more marks because that die adds onto every other die that is already in play, which is very big. Right, now we get to choose our recipes here. 0.6 essence if they have no spices, which we do not. We are not a spicy people. 200 fodder. No essence there. 20 flavor. So we got 20, we got flavor. I don't think we need 200 fodder. We've got enough fodder. So we're going to cook these 2 recipes. And we are going to watch those numbers scale up massively in the best way. Tens of thousands of hunger. Now, of course, we have to get to year 20 to satiate the dragon. Prosperity is scorched. The dragon is hangry. Apathy. Prosperity is scorched for 1 year. So, that's this. That's our 1.6 multiplier. That's going to be unideal. But hey, we have so much money. I have very little to worry about. When the coloured face is kept, all meat tiles yield 100% more during harvest. I mean, we do have some good meat tiles. No space for dice, so we'd have to sell a basic die. Ah, that's not what I wanted. Buy that. We'll keep the 5 and the 6 then. Any other shopping to be done? Pasture. Farmstead yields 50 milk ingredients from adjacent dairy tiles. Not something I need. Reroll the tool shop. Change a type to grain or spices. Let's reroll the tool shop. Plow. 33% to duplicate a mark. Add to the currently rolled die of a coloured. So let's do that. Can I do this then? How do I use you? Add colour to the currently rolled face of a coloured die. Oh, I haven't rolled you yet, so you don't have a coloured face. 33% chance to duplicate a tile's mark up to 6. We lose that. Let's try again. Nope. Alright, so now the 2 is red. We can get the 8. That will get us extra stuff off of it. The 11 is good for our veggies. We still need to roll a 10, though. It's a 5 or a 4 we need. There we go. Harvest all of that. And then it's probably just going to be ketchup and English breakfast again. This guy, we did roll a mark of 7 at some point, so it's now 0.1 essence. But honestly, I think this is probably going to be too slow for us to really benefit from in the long term. But we 2.5 extra requirements on that. What is year 15 going to be? The dragon refuses 1 random ingredient type. Won't be ideal. We got room for 2 more buildings now. Mallet, reroll the building dice and recipes. Multi-tool, recreate the last tool used. Fine chisel, go back on a number. Give me a multi-tool. And we'll try and find a better tool. Docks, merchant post. Market. Unlock an extra slot to gain access to tier 3s. How do we get an extra slot? It's not seasons, it's not recipes, it's not dice, it's not rolls. How do I unlock the extra slot, I wonder? Mysteries. Another high dice. Let's sell another basic die to take another high die. 6 and 4 and 6 and 4 is going to be huge for us, I think. We got no vegetables, though, for our English breakfast. So perhaps we keep this 6 and 4 and look for something else. 11 would be best. That's sorted. And then we have our English breakfast with ketchup, because, you know, it's how we spice all of our food in England. We just put ketchup on it, because generally ketchup is too spicy. It's a joke. Alright, we 2x our requirements. Now, 71,000 is certainly something we can manage. 2 more humble farmsteads. Very happy to see it. Where are we going to put them? Do we have any numbers that are not covered yet? We could cover the 12 is covered. The 8 is covered. The 3's not. Let's just do that. Why not? Oh, if we keep the 4, we get the 10. Of course we do. Then we can keep the 12. We need 2 more farmsteads for another year. Everything else we still need lots of. A pepper port. We don't have pepper here. Pepper's too spicy. Grab another humble farmstead. And another one. We can't play them both yet, but next year we will be able to. We can play one of them for now. And we have really run away with this one so far. But of course, we did start out with the most basic difficulty. Our level 1 recipe was free. Or at least our initial level 1 recipe was free. And we did get that cash injection from one of the items we found, so the strong are getting stronger. That puts us up to 5 seasons in a year. Don't worry too much about how that works with a calendar. Subtract a number, add a number, reroll stuff. These are not the tools I want to see. Workshop adds 1 tool slot. At the start of each season has 33% chance to create a hoe, pitchfork, or plow. Can I upgrade something? I can upgrade this. Nice. I want to see the 5 on that guy. 6 and 4. There's the 5. That's going to be so much resource for us between the 10s and the 11s and everything else. We are crushing it. Now, we're growing because our prosperity grows every year that we have spare seasons. But we're still kind of within a 2x of the hunger targets. So I don't feel like we're completely running away with it. And it just takes a few bad rolls for things to be really unideal. Sickle, change to grain or spices. These are not the things I want to see. Another humble farmstead, a lucky landing. We should upgrade our port there. 6 and 4 for the 10s. 5 for the 9 and the 11. Bumper crops. Of course, getting 2 recipes online and then allowing the effects of those 2 recipes to multiply together really does add like a big power spike in the build as well. And being able to do that when we did 174 on 170. Of course, we do have all the other seasons we can throw. So he won't eat anything with fish. We got lucky. We created a hoe. Get a new mark. Make another hoe. And make a new mark. Ah, it's so good. Imagine just having 6 marks on everything and just how OP you could get into the late game. Butcher Bay. Yields 20 meat ingredients from adjacent meat tiles. Also produces 100% more. We have... I can't put that there to upgrade it, but if we can get a basic dock, which we can. So, stick that on there for butchering. Chisel, mallet, handle. Reroll the tool shop. You know, I want to see that. Plow, cane. Change to meat or dairy. Scepter, gain extra money. We don't need to gain extra money at the cost of a season right now. We simply do not. Just keep all of that. Between the 12 for the veg and all of that meat, we are cooking, buddy. We are cooking. That's still just about 2x where we need to be, and we're getting so much prosperity gain. And we've got more money than we know what to do with. A black market. During cooking, gains 2 flavor per adjacent farmstead. Earns 4 ducats each year. Building limit +1. Cannot be sold or upgraded. Trade post tier 2. I don't have any open trade posts right now. A ranch. Farmstead yields 50 meat ingredients from adjacent meat tiles. Huge. 6, 4, 5, 6. Min-maxing not required. We are crushing it. Also, with the 2 high dice that we've purchased, it seems even harder to accidentally not get a suitable roll. We still have 3 open building slots now. We can take another dock. Where are we going to put that dock? Just over here. I got nowhere to upgrade that guy. Take the 6 from the non-big die. Oops, all 6s. So much meat for the red face 5. Look at that. 2,370 meat. This guy's at... Yeah, this is doing terribly. I'm just going to get rid of that so I stop thinking about not rolling the number it requested from us. Just a cool 693. Right, year 20 is where we would make our win. Prosperity is scorched for 1 year. That's gonna ruin our scoring quite a lot, but probably not too much, I would wager. Soil and green gives a decent amount of fodder, but our fodder is just so high from the meat die that we're rolling, or the red die. We are crushing it. A plow gives us 33% chance to duplicate a mark. We've missed all of those so far, which is always a shame. Just give me that 5. Perfect. Really, the core experience here is just avoiding the spice. He who does not control the spice controls the dragons. That's how Dune goes, right? I'm very familiar with that property of media, he said, having never engaged with the film or the books. Right, we didn't win outright for the first time. Obviously, we still have other seasons to roll, and so not super worried about it. We get another 10 there. That's huge. That 10 on that tile is going to be doubly as productive now. And that is going to fly us through year 19 and into year 20, where our prosperity will be burnt. But I have a sneaking suspicion we've stayed just ahead enough the curve here that it shouldn't be a problem. We also have more decats than I can possibly imagine. Right, let's take these 5s. Alright, we did not roll the good meaty multiplier, but let's just see how we do here without our prosperity in tow. $2,000 times 37 times 2. Only 145,000. That's terrifying. Alright, we suddenly need to make sure that we're not losing right here at the final hurdle, because that would be the worst. A black die. When its color's face is kept, creates a random tool during harvest. Cool, but not what I need. Plow, I can use. Quill, I can use. Sell this, we're not using it. Can I not sell you? Previously we've been able to sell, unless we have to go to next season first. Now I can sell you. Cool. Shop. Upgrade a random recipe by 1 level. We now have level 2 English breakfast. Plow. Nice. Shaker and a sickle. Dock and a toll house. Just odd numbers on that die. Let's make sure we're trying to be as productive as we can be on many of our buildings. That's going to be a great roll. I would like to get another 6. Now the 12 gets to be productive up here for our vegetable needs, although the 11 was probably sufficing. How does that recipe go with our prosperity still nuked? Oh, our essence is almost 2x'd anyway, so that's going to be much stronger. But still, we are not reaching this 1.2 million without our prosperity. Right. Can we make any of our buildings more prosperous right now? We get another dice roll from that. If we get another harbour, we can get another dice slot. Get rid of this. Buy that. Then a dock can go here. We'll upgrade that. Then we can shop for another die. We can do odd or black. Let's do black. Stick this. I got not enough room for stuff. Right, we're now rolling 5 dice. Keep that 4, that 5. look at all of these marks we're rolling. All of that just translates to even more resources. No spices, though. Never any spices. $5,000 times 37 times 3 point something. 9.2 or 923,000 with 2 seasons to go. I think we're going to be okay. Oh, that 5 is just what the doctor ordered. There's the black die face of this one. Doesn't want to show its face. That's fine. Cook that off. Oh, thank you for the really cook prompt. I lost a run like that before, I'm sure. We've done it. The Scorchpot remembers. So do I. You win. Years 520. Final prosperity 1.63. Dice rolls 100. Ducats earned 1,146. Ingredients harvested 42,110. Highest offering 2,064,454. A new dragon has taken notice of your deeds. A new appetite ascension awaits. Alright, that is everything for me for today. If you want to check out the game for yourself, once again, do check out the links down below. It will take you either to the notification page for when the Kickstarter launches or the Kickstarter itself if the Kickstarter is currently live, and you'll also find links down to the Steam page if you want to follow it there for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.